In this video, we are going to recap some important things regarding exponents. Now, I just want to say, one of the most important things regarding exponents is to always get the prime factors. Om altyd jou priemfaktore te kry. And to do that, you take whatever number it is they give you, so 24, 5, whatever, you say equal. Okay, so you type in the number into your calculator. When you say equal, then you're going to press your shift button, and then after that you're going to press your fact button. Alright, so and then it's going to give you something with exponents. Alright, so this is literally the number one thing you need to do, is you need to go and shift fact. Alright, so when you get stuck, I promise you, just do that and then you already get 1 or 2 marks. Alright, so it can be an easy one. Let's say they give you 9x to the power of 2, y to the power of 3 over 18x, y 6, for example. This is an easy, simple one for grade 8. Alright, there's no funny things, so you just need to remember, when I divide, my exponents are going to subtract. Wanneer ek deel, gaan my exponente minus. Okay, so the 9 over 18, right, this is normal numbers, so you're going to put that into your calculator. Make sure it's 9 over 18. It's not the same thing as 18 divided by 9. Okay, so this is going to give you a half. Then, what did we say? Your exponents are going to subtract. Remember, there's an imaginary 1 there. So it's going to be x, 2 minus 1, which gives me x. And then I always check what was the greatest number. My greatest number was 2, which means my x has to stay at the top. Then I'm going to do the same here. Alright, so I have a y, and I have 6 minus 3, which gives me 3. And then I ask myself again, where was the most y's? The most y's were at the bottom. So it tells me it's going to be 6 minus 3, which gives me 3. So either you can write it like this, or you could have written it as x over 2y to the power of 3. Most important thing here is remember your exponents subtract, okay, they minus, and then you always check where was the most. So if the most y's were at the top, then your answer y is going to be at the top. If most of your y's were at the bottom, then your answer y is going to be at the bottom. Then let me just think for a moment, sorry. Alright, then you can get something like a square root. Now, the reason I want to look at a square root is because you haven't looked at it in a very long time, and I think it's quite an important one. Alright, so let's say they tell you 4 to the power of 6, a to the power of 8, b to the power of 2. Now I ask you, what do your exponents do inside a square root? Your exponents are going to divide. So your base still stays the same. That 4 still stays a 4. But what is my exponents going to do? That 6 is going to divide with a square root, which is 2. And the 8 is going to divide with 2. And the 2 is going to divide with 2. So your bases stay the same. Your grondgetalle bly dieselfde, but your exponents are going to divide. So this is going to become 4 to the power 6 divided by 2 is 3. 8 divided by 2 is 4. And 2 divided by 2 is 1. And then 4 to the power 3 is something you should know. If you're really stuck, use your calculator, but it gives you 64, 8 to the power 4, b. Remember, when a question says you cannot use your calculator, it doesn't mean never use your calculator. Remember, your calculator is there to guide you, not to give you the full answer. So if you show your steps like this, then I must know, oh, you actually know what you're doing. So if you then put in 4 to the power 3, or work it out of your head, I'm not going to know. I'm just going to see that you got to 64. Alright, so just make sure that when a question says don't use your calculator, don't throw it away and never use it. It's still there to guide you, but just make sure that you write steps in between. Alright, then you can obviously have a normal multiplication one. So let's say you have 3x to the power of 2y times 6xy3. Same thing. What does my exponents do when I multiply? They are going to add. So I'm first going to start with my numbers. So I'm going to say 3 times 6, which gives me 18. And then I'm going to take my exponents and I'm going to add them. Remember, there's the imaginary 1 as well as there. So it's going to be x to the power of 2 plus 1, which gives me 3. And y to the power of 1 plus 3, which gives me 4. Alright, so these are the basics that you learned in grade 8 and 9. Now we go to a bit more difficult one, which is a grade 10 level sum. And that is, let me just think quickly out of one here, out of my head. I'm not sure if it's going to work out, but we're going to try our best. Yeah, we're going to try our best. Alright, so let's say 2 to the power of 2x minus 1, 64x plus 1 over 3x plus 2. Alright, now this looks a bit difficult, right? But it's not supposed to be. So what did I say? The first thing, if you get stuck, what do? I go and get my prime factors. So I'm going to take each one of my bases, and I'm going to put it into my calculator, and I'm going to check what answer does it give me. And then remember, your exponents you're going to put into brackets. So I'm going to do it in the beginning of a question so that you know you're not going to mess it up. Alright, so I'm going to put 2 into my calculator, so I'm going to say 2 equals shift fact, and I see, okay, no, it still just gives me 2. So this is just going to be 2 to the power of 2x minus 1. Remember, a dot means multiply, or a point means multiply. Then I'm going to do the same with 64. So I'm going to say 64 equals shift fact, and it gives me 2 to the power of 6. Then remember your bracket, x plus 1. Then at the bottom, I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to say 16 equals shift fact. It's going to give me 2 to the power of 4 bracket 3x plus 2. If you do this, you already get 2 marks. Now, what is the next step? The next step is going to be to get rid of these brackets. I don't like brackets, so let's get rid of it. So remember, this 6 has to multiply over that x, but it also has to multiply over that 1. In it says, go and draw in your arrows so that you know what are you busy with. Otherwise, it's very easy to make silly mistakes and, for example, forget that this 6 has to multiply over that 1 as well. And then here at the bottom, this 4 has to multiply over 3x, and this 4 has to multiply over that 2. So this is going to give me 2 to the power of 2x minus 1 times 2 to the power of 6 times x is 6x, 6 times 1 is 6, over 2 to the power of 4 times 3x is 12x, and 4 times 2 is 8. Alright, now I need to go and check, where are all of my bases the same? Well, in this example, yes, all of them are 2's. So now I ask myself, what do I do if it's a multiply? What do my exponents do? My exponents are going to add. So it's going to become 2 to the power of 2x minus 1 plus 6x plus 6. Okay, at the bottom I only have one term, so that's just staying for now. And now I go and say, alright, like terms. What is 2x plus 6x? Oh, that gives me 8x. And then, what is minus 1 plus 6? And that's going to give me 5. And I do the same at the bottom. Well, there's nothing to do, so I just leave it as that. And now my last step, what do I do when I have to divide? My exponents are going to subtract. So now I'm going to ask myself again, what is 8x minus 12x? Okay, so 8x minus 12x is going to give me minus 4x, and 5 minus 8 is going to be minus 3. And there you have it. There's your answer. Right, so in a test we usually try to give you a whole number as an answer, but it doesn't always work out that way. So if it doesn't work out that way, then this is what you do. So first step, prime factors. Second step, brackets. First step, multiply, meaning add your exponents. Fourth step, divide, meaning subtract your exponents. Alright, so exponents always looks difficult, but really it isn't that bad.